Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's interview is a very special one we've been waiting for quite some time, probably 10 years in the making. The man I'm talking about is 7-time Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath.
What's up?
Hey, we finally get you here.
Yeah, everybody's probably like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did make the statement the day after the Olympia at whatever that little brunch they had there was, that you felt that that a lot of, I had sent you questions obviously prior to the Olympia. I wanted to interview you. You felt they were not appropriate. They were too invasive. Have you changed your mind since we talked on the phone?
I think by us talking on the phone is just like most things that happen via social media or email. Things can be taken out of context on both parties. And I think it was good that you and I had a chance to discuss those things. And then we both realized, like, okay, that wasn't the intent. Okay, cool. And now we're here. And I think it's a true testament of the fact that on social media or through an email or even a text message, things could be looked at in multiple directions. People can make judgments based on that. And all it takes is a phone call and saying, "What's up?
Right.
Did you feel this way or not?" Nope.
Why do you think people don't talk on the phone anymore, Phil? I hate it because I'm very sarcastic. My text messages are always misconstrued the wrong way, and the tone is never conveyed properly.
I think it's because it's easier to interpret things how you want them to be when they're nonverbal.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, someone could read something and then be like, "Well, I could take this however I want." Whereas if we're communicating directly face to face, sometimes there's no rebuttal at all, or there's no argument at all. And a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, we're all emotional to what we see and what we read. So I just think it's quite easier. I think it's easier for me to pick up the phone and start doing this shit than to pick up the phone and actually physically call someone and say, "Hey man, heard this. How do you feel about this?" And come with a different type of emotional attitude. So I think we all do it. I think we've just been conditioned now because of how easy and how fast our lives are with social.
Right.
That we don't we barely probably pick up the phone to call our own parents or loved ones. We'll text each other.
Yeah, no, it is pretty pathetic. Let me cut to the chase because, the interview I was going to do with you prior to the Olympia is a different tone now than after the Olympia, obviously because of what happened, of the loss. Have you ever, have you called any of the judges? Have you found out actually why you did lose? Because I know I've seen in a couple other interviews you did, you were saying, "I don't even know why I lost."
No, to be honest, the only number I have that I physically have is Jim Mangan and Steve Weinberger's cell phone.
Right.
I don't have all the other judges' phone numbers.
Well, isn't Steve Weinberg and Jim Mangan the most relevant anyway, that you would think you would call them, right?
Yeah, but usually, Steve and them guys were on tour. They're doing a Kuwait show and this and that. Look, after the show, there's a lot of hoopla and this and that, a lot of media and this and that. So I didn't visit with them, and they didn't visit with me. I think it's just to the point where, sometimes when you have, this is foreign. This is a foreign area in my career where I was winning for years on end, and then this happens. We still have to celebrate Shawn Rhoden, but yet do we check on Phil? Mm-hmm. And was I checked on, like, by text and calls? No. Does that mean that they don't like me? No. It just means that maybe there's something else going on and we just need to take time, and maybe we all want to realize that emotions can be very raw, and the last thing you want to do is sometimes visit with someone that has had this type of experience. You want to get a more genuine experience. That's my assumption. I do expect at some point in time to have a more formal conversation. But as to answer your question as to why I lost, I think it was the whole 2018. We could start from the very beginning of January. We could start from last year. A lot of people were very outraged and this and that, and a lot of people were for me. People were split down the middle, and I think there was a lot of pressure going into 2018 with the Olympia. The ticket sales, the lack of coverage, a lot of things. I mean, and then when in the magazine, literally saying that you get to, as a fan, get to pick who the champion is, was that hype along with truth? I don't know, but it was a bigger target on my back than I can say anyone else has ever had as a Mr. Olympia champion. They literally said that the fans get to choose on Saturday who they want, but at the end of the day, they chose Rudy Winkler. They didn't even choose Shawn. Right. So being told that the saying that the fans know what they're looking for, they're paying customer, I knew right there, I was like, Phil, this could really fucking go the opposite.
Well, they did that for hype and for media because, Ronnie Coleman had that stupid challenge round when he was Mr. Olympia, and he lost twice, to Gustavo Bedell. But
you know what the difference was with that, Dave, is that it wasn't counted as a judge sitting at the table.
Well, I don't think this was counted as a judge sitting at the table.
How do we know?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because, first of all, the low and high scores get thrown out, so it wouldn't have been relevant. We know that. Phil, you've had more people saying that you're going to lose every single year, probably for the last 4 years. And at least on the outside, it seems like it never bothered you. You always just said, hey, look, I'm going to show up at my best. I'm going to win, and that's the bottom line. And you know what? To be honest with you, I thought you won last year easily. I don't think there was anyone even who challenged you.
And I was better than that this year, and that's the thing. It's like... so
do you believe you were better this year?
I physically was better than last year. At the Olympia, look, first and foremost, just because I have an opinion about what I felt I looked like and this and that does not take away what Shawn did. Let's get that out of the way. I've congratulated him numerous times, and I still stand by it. He won. They awarded him. It is over. But I'm not going to be the first runner-up that ever thought that he didn't win.
Right. Of course. Of course not.
I'm not just saying that. I felt like I brought a better package, but that's my opinion and a lot of other opinions from fans. Right. But it wasn't the case, and I have to live with their judgment. Right.
I actually talked to Steve Weinberger. He actually called me from Prague. We were talking about something else, and I asked him, I said, why did Phil lose? Since you didn't, he said you never called him, so he said he would have been more than happy to talk to you. But I asked him, I said, why do you guys as judges, pick Shawn Rhoden? Now, obviously, Shawn was way better this year than he was last year, so you didn't beat, the Shawn Rhoden from last year was not as good as this one, and we all know that. And Steve said basically the front poses you lost because of the waistline. How do you feel about that? Because these were always pretty dominant poses for you that you've won. Obviously in the past, no one's been able to touch you. This year you were vulnerable, and obviously the judges decided to go with Shawn. How do you deal with that emotionally? As a Mr. Olympia, to know that Shawn beat you in those poses.
There's 5 other ones.
Well, I mean, we know you won the back poses. You won the back poses. Let's say you lost the 3 front poses and you split the side poses.
How did I split the side poses?
Well, you could make an argument that Shawn won the side tricep because of the fact that you were having trouble with the waistline.
Whoa! You're telling me, Dave, that Shawn Rhoden actually hit a side tricep pose, or did he hit a front pose?
Well, it is what it is. Everyone does that.
Don't do that, Dave. Don't do that,
Dave. Well, everyone hits unconventional poses, in bodybuilding.
No. Okay. See, you can always. I love it, Dave. My wife, Cherie, knows when I'm lying. I start smiling like you just did.
Right.
So you're telling me that number 1, that's a tricep pose, and number 2, you're not even talking about the tricep. You're talking about the abdominals in a tricep pose. It says best side tricep, and you're talking about abdominals first over the actual pose itself, which is side tricep. It's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger was in Pumping Iron and they're hitting poses with Franco, and he goes side chest. No, not front chest. Ha 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 ha. Do the front chest. See. Right. So if you were to hit the conventional side tricep, I mean, come on, guys, like let's not bullshit here. Was it a side tricep or not? No, it was a different type of one that showcased his abs. You, Dave Palumbo, just said it showed off his abs better. So
it's an aesthetic pose because it is from the side. So if you lose aesthetics on the pose, you know, you have to find how to capitalize or maximize your aesthetics.
So aesthetic is, the definition is pleasing to the eye.
Right.
Okay. So are you going to hit the side pose or are you going to hit it from the front? You hit it from the front. Okay, that does look good. I'm not saying that shot doesn't look good on him, but it looks like a fucking ab shot, not a side tricep. And his triceps aren't big enough to see from the front next to mine. So that's the argument. No one's going to win that argument.
Right, but does that mean that Ruli Winkler beats you in the side tricep because he's got a bigger arm than you?
That's not. Look, no, he did not. That was never even a question. That wasn't even a question. That wasn't even a conversation. That Ruli beat you in that. Because now we can talk about.
Ruli hits the side tricep correctly. I'm just saying. So it's the whole package, right? You're looking at, you're assessing.
Okay, so if you're only assessing something from the front and not the side, then you still lose this argument. There.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
I think we should move on to the side chest. We should move on to
I give you the side chest pose.
Oh, all day you do. You know you do. Everybody else does too. But then they said, so that's 2 shots. The back shots go to me.
Right.
That's 4-3.
I give him the 3 front shots.
Okay, and then what's the last one?
Most muscular. I can give you the most muscular.
So then it's 5-3.
But then you got your quarter turns too, which I give to him.
Shit. You see the shit.
And remember, I'm the guy who easily has you winning last year.
Shit. You see the shit that I had from the top to the waist down. No one had that grainy shit.
Your conditioning was excellent. I know a lot of people have criticized your conditioning. I thought your conditioning was very good. I thought it was among your best.
Dave, we're having fun right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was grainy as fuck. That shit was like the hamstrings, the lower back, like all that shit.
No one touches you from behind.
Huh?
No one touches you from behind. Agreed.
Okay, so then from the side, I got grainy shit from the side hanging. Like, this is funny. Because even from the side, if you're looking at the shoulders, from the traps, the shoulders, from the side, I got striations in that shit. You can see the front. You can see the front delt, side and rear, and tricep and bicep with forearms. Look, Dave, like I said, man, like this is something that I can literally make a great argument for all fucking day. It's just what they preferred on that day. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that they're wrong. I'm just saying that I have a valid argument with this, that it did not make him win by 4 fucking points in the night show when I came back even better.
Right.
Now, if I lost by a point, like I did after prejudging, okay, but seriously, all the arguments have been saying that Phil beat himself because his waistline was not the same as Shawn Rhoden's. Now, that's all someone has to say, so they made the ab shots have more value than all those other body parts, and then they say, oh, well, it throws off the physique. Well, that's only front double bicep, front lat spread, and ab and thigh. The other 5, the fuck out of here.
Let me ask you this question. What do you think is going on with the waistline? Why were you having trouble controlling it, you think? I know last year you had the hernia, that was fixed.
It didn't heal.
Yeah, the hernia was fixed, though. You didn't have an umbilical hernia on stage.
Dave, I heard your other interview when you were talking about, like, you're speculating with Milos and the doctor.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going in for surgery on the 18th. Mm-hmm. It'll be quite easy for that doctor to go explain it to you, Milos, and everybody else in the world if they need to. No one wants to believe what I'm saying is because they have their own assumptions, your own things.
Well, tell us what's going on physiologically. We'd love to know.
It's very simple. I was born with less fascia around my abdomen, no different than a lot of boys do, right. And they have hernias when they're children.
Right.
I had a surgery at 3 years old that you're normally supposed to, any parent of a son usually knows. You're probably not supposed to have surgery that young, but my parents chose to do it that way.
Right.
So my whole life, I did not have transverse abdominals and all the other shit growing correctly. Now, you look at my basketball pictures, all sort of stuff, the most I ever weighed in college was 180 pounds. I got up to 285 pounds at one time in my life, so you don't think that's going to create an issue?
Oh, of course, it stretches out that fascia. We all know
exactly. So they stretched out the fascia, was stretched out to what? The transverse abdominals, the what's on top of that,
Absolutely.
everything else. So I'm actually happy, and I literally, I am thanking God that I was able to even compete this year. Mm-hmm. Seriously, because of what I did. Now, when we talk about the fascia not being there and this and that, the doctor can actually explain the whole procedure. We get it. And actually, my wife actually explained it on her social media, and people didn't want to believe it because they tend to like to say, oh, it was GH or it was insulin or this and that and the other. You're going to believe that bullshit over someone that actually has real documentation from a doctor that is bound by law to give you the truth.
Well, I think it just has to do a lot with the fact that you have a ridiculous amount of muscle. The fascia has stretched out. Like with Kai Green had the same problem. Ronnie Coleman had the same problem at the end of his career. But Kai is a master on the stage at controlling things usually. So he had a little. He has better abdominal control. Do you think that's something that you can just work on posing wise to control better? Because when you're in the pose, you look fine. It seems like there's certain times when you're just not aware of it or whatever.
It's not that. It's the fact that it tore. It's the fact that it tore from the umbilical, from the belly button. Right. It tore. So if obviously when that happens, you do get winded. Period. It's just the way it is.
Right. So
you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm breathing through my diaphragm. Guys, I know how to fucking breathe. I've been doing this shit for a long time, and the problem with these conversations is that people that like me will listen. The people that don't want to say that's an excuse. Mm-hmm. You did this, this, and this. I'm here to tell you this. Toward the end of the prep, things started feeling discomfort. And the doctor told me, you may feel discomfort. It may happen. Well, guess what, guys? Like, if you've had the same procedure, which a lot of people may or may not have, when you get as lean as I get, you don't think the fascia that was created to actually, from the sides, being pulled to the front to actually complete this procedure, you don't think that fascia is going to get taken away because I have no fat around my damn body?
Right.
It's going to get less and less and less, and it's not going to hold, right? So I had a quarter-sized mesh put in, just a quarter. I probably should have had inches, right. 3 to 5 inches maybe. I mean, shit, Shawn Rhoden had a fucking hernia and shit, and we all know that. It took him inches. He had inches, not a quarter size. He had inches. Right. And it takes time to heal. So you guys saw me. I was fucking excited. I was like, hell yeah, I'm back. I'm ready to go. But I was ready to go like when I was at Mannion's show in May, lifting my shirt up with Frank Seppi saying, fuck you guys, let's get this going.
Right.
Well, I wasn't in prep mode. I didn't know that it wasn't going to, you know what I'm saying? So right. I didn't find out how it would hold until I got down to very low body fat. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, was I able to hold it in? Yeah, but the breathing was more difficult. And I just, being the warrior that I am, I'm like, well, fuck it, let's go, because I still have, it still looks better than last year.
Right.